議員呢
Members' motion with no legislative effect. Members who wish to speak, please press the request to speak button. This council will proceed to debate on Mr. Chen Yong's motion on further enhancing the speed and efficiency of developing the Northern Metropolis to promote the better development of Hong Kong's innovation and technology industry. 7 members will move amendments to the motion. This council will proceed to a joint debate on the motion and the amendments. I will first call upon Mr. Chen Yong to speak and move the motion. Then I will call upon Mr. Augustine Wong, Mr. Lee Kwong-yu, Professor Michael Ngai, Mr. Chun-kwok, Mr. Andrew Fan, Professor Priscilla LEUNG, and Dr. Hoey Simon Lee to speak in sequence, but they may not move the amendments at this stage. The joint debate now begins. I now call upon Mr. Chen Yong to speak and move the motion. Mr. Chen Yong, President, thank you. The motion that I move is the further enhancing the speed and efficiency of developing the Northern Metropolis to promote the better development of Hong Kong's innovation and technology industry. Today is the first day of spring. It is the day when we start to plan for the rest of the year. I think that we are off to a good start. We have 2 engines of development. First is our finance, second is our INT industry. I'd like to go over some background. President Xi stresses that we have to focus on promoting technology development, and it will become our engine of growth. This will benefit everyone in Hong Kong, and we must be self-reliant. On the 15th Five-Year Plan, innovation and technology is set to be the core of development. We must become the next INT hub. The world is undergoing the next technological renovation. We are reshaping the structure of economy globally. I think that Hong Kong is playing a very important role. We have to develop INT in order to proceed to the next stage and grow further. As we can see, many large enterprises go out of business because of some wrong positioning. Without INT, there is no future. That's why we must focus on the development of the Northern Metropolis. We all know that this is an urgent project. We must seize all opportunities. As a result, while the Northern Metropolis is not only an important source of land, it is a metropolis to serve our country so that we can achieve self-reliance. It is also an important growth engine of ours. In the last year's policy address, the chief executive and many secretaries said this: we have to focus on developing the metropolis. This is the first year of the 15th Five-Year Plan. It is the time when we go from stability to prosperity. We must enhance speed and efficiency. We have the loop, we have the sentient technopole in the Northern Metropolis. These are the engines where we can develop INT. We have advanced manufacturing, we have health science. All these fields we will drive development. We have 4 suggestions as a DAB. We have to enact a dedicated piece of legislation for the Northern Metropolis. This is how we can remove barriers for its development. Our second suggestion is that we should leverage on this piece of legislation to save time and speed things up. We must improve our development approach and attract investment. Second, we should rely on the loop and the sentient technopole, and we should treat them as our double or dual engines to drive development and manufacturing for the entire Greater Bay Area. Another suggestion, that is the 4th suggestion of ours, is that we should create an energy chain for the Northern Metropolis. We need to have green electricity. We have to have great computing power. We also have to go for low carbon development. Details of our suggestions are as follows. The dedicated legislation should not just be about removing barriers of development. We also have to focus on cross-boundary flow of data, capital, people, and so on. On the different new approaches of the government, such as large-scale land disposal, so on and so forth, I think the government is already doing quite a good job. By the end of this year, we're going to develop we are going to relax the development parameters by 70%, but I think that we should start building. We should start developing the loop, and in the Sentin Technopole, we should build more buildings on top of the existing ones. This is how we can enhance speed and efficiency in building the Northern Metropolis and developing our I&D industry. We should contribute our strengths and wisdom into this large project under the leadership of the Chief Executive and various chiefs. Thank you.
Mr. Brave Chan, please move the motion as printed on the agenda. Thank you, President. I move the motion as printed on the agenda. I now propose the question to you that Mr. Brave Chan's motion be passed. Mr. Augustine Wong. Deputy President, I declare my interest. My company does engage in real estate development. I support Mr. Brave Chan's motion and other amendments moved by members. Now, it is expected that the Northern Link and the Northern Metropolis Highway will be completed by 2030 and 2036. In other words, it's still 10 years away from fully developing the Northern Metropolis. To achieve the objective set in the motion, we have to seize the upcoming 10 years' time fully. So I have made two suggestions in my amendments for the government to prepare the Northern Metropolis more rapidly. Now, I suggest learning from the mainland's 1.5 level development concepts in the mainland to allow for constructing low-rise, lower-cost temporary buildings in Northern Metropolis in the initial stage. Coupled with MIC building method, we can enable enterprises to come in earlier and create an ecosystem first. Now, through 1.5 level developments with easily built temporary buildings, we can encourage university to set up campus in the university town and attract mainland and overseas academic talents. We can also build a pool of overseas and mainland talents for I&T. This will help build Northern Metropolis into a base for I&T development. Now, the government should also start actively recruiting I&T companies to Hong Kong. These are potential talents in the Northern Metropolis. We must offer a series of concessionary measures, and we should begin now. For example, in Kowloon East, Hong Kong Island East, and Cheung Sha Wan, these are districts with higher vacancy rates in offices. Now, the government should become the major tenants of buildings in these areas and sub-brands the office spaces to I&T companies at a concessionary rent. This will help them adapt to the environment in Hong Kong and prepare them for moving into the Northern Metropolis. Now, according to the Rating and Values Department's 2025 figures, by the end of 2024, Grade A, B, C office buildings vacancies rates were 17.4%, 15.6%, and 11%. For private commercial building, the vacancy rate was 11.8%. Now, according to the reports published in September last year, for Grade A office building in Kowloon East, the vacancy rate was 23.7%. Now, according to the electrical documents, by March 2025, the Science Technology Park has a tenancy rate of 94%. Now, for cyberports in 2021, including the smart space, the vacancy rate is only 5%, and expansion was called for. It shows that the Science Technology Park and the Cyber Park are already in full capacity. We need more land to support new I&T companies. Now, if governments take the lead in renting vacant office premises, it will improve the vacancy rate for these office buildings while preparing companies to move into the Northern Metropolis. Now, to develop the I&T industry in the Northern Metropolis in full, we also need to support local I&T enterprises. Concessionary schemes should be extended to local enterprises to meet their needs. The Northern Metropolis is the important engine for our future development. We need to seize the next 10 years and start now by attracting I&T talents and prepare ourselves for the completion of the NM. Now, there are lots of details which remains to be sorted out. I don't want to distract members' focus from Mr. Brave Chan's motion and other amendments, so I decide I will not move my amendments in a moment's time. In the future, I will move my own motion for specific discussion. Thank you. Mr. Lee Kwong-yu. Thank you, Deputy President. I speak in support of Mr. Brave Chan's motion on further enhancing the speed and efficiency of developing the Northern Metropolis to promote the better development of Hong Kong's I&T industry. To ensure rapid development of I&T industry, we need to introduce talents and nurture local talents. In the short term, we need to target our efforts on talents in frontier technologies like pharmaceutical, AI, and advanced manufacturing. The government should make better use of our existing talent attraction scheme and compile a list of needed talents for the enterprises in the Northern Metropolis. Now, for the first 2 years, the government should subsidize 30% of the salary differences between the enterprises and the talents. And also, there should be a clear career path roadmap for these talents to ensure that they will stay in Hong Kong and contribute to our economy. In the middle to long term, we need to enhance the vocational training and academic pursuit dual-track model. We need to combine the research sector and industry. For example, professors should be involved in tackling real-life obstacles encountered in the research process, and also industry experts should be involved in updating the curriculum in universities so as to address the manpower shortage. We also encourage enterprises to hire young people on a work and train basis. Now, those enterprises which retain their interns after 1 year's internship should be given a 2-year salary subsidy. Now, for graduates or interns who perform well, they should be offered advanced employment by the employers. Now, this will promote employment for young graduates as well as those seeking to change track. The FTU has conducted a survey, and 70% of the respondents indicated that nurturing local talents is the most important task for the government. We need to ensure that we are nurturing talents in all sectors. More than 90% of our employees work in SMEs. So we need to ensure that these SMEs employees are encouraged to upgrade and retrain themselves so that they can benefit from the new economy. Now, under each I&T fund, the government should include indicators like the number of employees hired by an enterprise, and also The subsidized enterprises should be required to spend, say, 10% of the fund received on retraining their employees. Now, through that condition, we can ensure that employees of companies of different sizes can receive retraining to adjust to the digitalization of our economy and help transform our talent pool. We want every working employee to be able to integrate into the national development blueprint and share the fruits of economic development. Thank you. Mr. Michael Ngai. Professor Michael Ngai. Thank you, Deputy President. As the key growth engine for our future, the Northern Metropolis development is more than upgrading our local industries. It is also an important platform for Hong Kong to serve the national development blueprint. The Hong Kong SAR government must adopt an innovative mindset to pick up speed on developing the Northern Metropolis, the Hong Kong Park of the Hotel Cooperation Zone, and the Centennial Pole. It must also pursue simultaneous developments of the Northern Metropolis and the University Town, so that the talents nurtured can be deployed to support I&T development. Now, I thank Mr. Brave Chan for moving today's motion on exploring how we can promote the better development of our I&T industry. Now, first of all, speeding up the development of the University Town and achieve cross-disciplinary, cross-sector, and cross-territory breakthrough. Now, we are the only city in the world with 5 top 100 universities. 2 of these universities have been ranked the most internationalized schools in the world. The Northern Metropolis University Town should give play to this strength. We should establish more research universities and attract more universities to set up laboratories and research centers in the University Town. Now, in terms of the layout, we should first focus on AI, biotechnology, and biohealth. These will tie in with the developments of the industries in the Northern Metropolis. For example, to develop pharmaceutical products, we need the in-depth collaboration between computing powers, AI, and talents. We should also create an integrated society which is suitable for people to live, work, and travel. Together with competitive tax package, we can attract top-notch scientists to come to Hong Kong to conduct their research. And second, we should encourage the combined growth of talents, financing, and technology. We should integrate our resources, dedicate our resources to nurture talents and use talents to foster technology and use technology to foster our financial system. Now, the talents from the University Town can provide research support for enterprises in the Hong Kong Park and the Hotel Zone. And with a financial system and green carbon markets, we can speed up the industrialization and commercialization of the research products. From a policy level, we should set up a high-level steering system to promote the research, industry, and financial sectors to establish a regular collaborative platform. Through cross-disciplinary collaboration, we can activate more scenarios for development. Third, we need to enhance our policy measures and speed up the construction of the Centennial Pole and the Hong Kong Park and Hotel to achieve cross-territory collaboration. Now, the hotel area is adjacent to the Centennial Pole. We can adopt the principle of one zone, 2 parks in the layout design and dovetail the design of the University Town so as to establish a comprehensive I&T industry chain combining upstream and downstream sectors. Now, there should be dedicated policy supports, for example, relaxing the limitation on cross-boundary capital flow in relation to I&T research. Now, on the basis of national security, we need to facilitate the flow of data and biosamples and encourage the enterprises to commercialize their products in the Bay Area and establish a model where the research products are being used locally. The development of the Northern Metropolis will affect Hong Kong's future competitiveness and also the nation's development blueprint. The August era government should adopt a more innovative mindset to speed up the development of the Northern Metropolis and adopt the cross-disciplinary, cross-sector and cross-territory principle to ensure that there is comprehensive growth for our industries and ensure that we can contribute our strength to the country's bid to become a technological self-sufficient state.
Mr. Kasatham. Thank you, President. I speak in support of the motion moved by Mr. Brave Chan. I have also moved an amendment. The Northern Metropolis is the new engine for Hong Kong's future development. It straddles a number of important policy areas covering healthcare, tourism, innovation, technology, housing, as well as people's livelihood. There is a need to enhance speed, efficiency of the development. We need to create this dual engine in Hong Kong. Innovation and technology industry is also crucial to the development of the Northern Metropolis, and Hong Kong Park of the He-Tao Cooperation Zone is one of the 4 major collaborating platforms in the Greater Bay Area. It is crucial that we promote synergistic development. Now, I acknowledge the government's efforts in starting from scratch, and now Hong Kong Park has been commissioned. And the outline for the development of Hong Kong Park and Shenzhen Park have been launched, and there are clear guidances on promoting the cross-boundary flow of production elements. We need to align policies actively with the mainland. And we also need to align laws as well. The government is going to enact dedicated legislation on Northern Metropolis. Institutionally, flexibility will be provided to give Northern Metropolis a strategic value. Legislative enactment is just the first step. We also need to remove red tape and obstacles in our laws so that we can align with the mainland on laws and policies so that we can give play to a unique advantage of one zone, 2 parks in the area. Now, the Hong Kong Park has been commissioned, and I look forward to close communication between our government and the Shenzhen municipal government, and thus cross-boundary bridge will be developed more expeditiously. This will provide the green channel for the flow of talents and other production elements in the 2 places. It is equally important to align the laws in the 2 places as well. Comparing to Shenzhen Park, which spans 300 hectares, Hong Kong Park only covers 87 hectares. So we can't achieve economy of scale and the formation of I&T and industrial clusters. This has always been the pain point for I&T development in Hong Kong. We do not have sufficient land to support the industries. So we need space not only for research and development, we also need space to build an ecosystem with focus on manufacturing and building an industrial chain. My amendment provides a solution. My suggestion is to make use of Suntin Technopole, which covers 210 hectares, so that it can be incorporated into the He-Tao Cooperation Zone to promote greater synergy. This will enhance the capacity of the Hong Kong Park, and we can build a greater loop area comparable in size to the Shenzhen Park so that we enjoy competitiveness in the global community. Now, I also propose drawing up preferential policy packages so as to attract enterprises to set a presence in Hong Kong. The preferential policy packages should be rolled out as quickly as possible. Now, I have the following suggestions. The package should include, for example, tax breaks for key enterprises and special passes and channels for I&T talents in the 2 places to facilitate the flow of talents. And without compromising data security, we should also promote the flow of R&D data in the loop. We should enhance synergistic development in the Greater Bay Area. Northern Metropolis is a new engine for Hong Kong's development. As technology advances day by day, we need to quicken our pace and adopt a new thinking. We should think out of the box and remove obstacles and red tapes when it comes to laws, regulations, and land policies. Together with hardware and software, we take a multi-pronged approach so that we form a talent hub to attract I&T talents to the Northern Metropolis, and also develop the Northern Metropolis University Town. I support the amendment, and I urge members to the motion, and I urge members to support my amendment. Mr. Andrew Fan. I thank Mr. Brave Chan for moving today's motion. I am chair of an education center. Every year, I visit different schools. We hold seminars to share with young people national security, national education, as well as development opportunities for our young people. We have held over 200 seminars so far. Through exchanges with school heads, teachers, and students, I've realized that our young people are not very familiar with the planning and major development projects of our country. And that includes the Northern Metropolis project. Through today's amendment, I hope that the government will enhance local and external publicity for the Northern Metropolis. Hong Kong has entered the critical phase of moving from stability to prosperity. The Northern Metropolis is a new engine for Hong Kong's future development. It's also crucial in terms of Hong Kong's integration into the overall development plan of our country. The vision of the Northern Metropolis is to build an international I&T city comprising cultural, tourism, and recreational elements. And the Northern Metropolis is very relevant to the future of every Hong Kong citizen, including young people in Hong Kong. The Chief Executive chairs the Committee on the Development of the Northern Metropolis, and at the top level, steer is provided to coordinate its development. This is a very good initiative, but when it comes to the blueprint on the development of Northern Metropolis, we also need young people to learn more about Northern Metropolis so that we can attract investors and enterprises from around the world to come. The Northern Metropolis will take an industry-led approach. In Singapore, there is also an innovation park spanning 600 hectares. It will place emphasis on advanced manufacturing. It's an integrated area, and it's starting from 2022 through extensive media reports. Global enterprises have set a presence in Singapore. They've set up their branches, and because of the successful publicity strategy, they have successfully introduced different global companies there for investment. Now, for Northern Metropolis, it spans about 30,000 square meters. So we need to mount comprehensive publicity and promotion. We also need to familiarize every citizen, including every young person in Hong Kong, with Northern Metropolis. We need to be proactive in reaching out to school campuses to explain Northern Metropolis to our young people so that they have a sense of ownership. And we also need to explain the industrial layout in Northern Metropolis, and we should promote STEAM education so that young people fully appreciate the ample opportunities presented to them, and that they will be proactive in supporting the Northern Metropolis development. We can also learn from Singapore's innovation park. Invest Hong Kong recently announced that 30 mainland or overseas enterprises have plans to set up presence in Hong Kong and take forward the development in the Northern Metropolis. This shows that the Northern Metropolis has great potential, but we should continue to exert influence in the global community. Through Invest Hong Kong and Oasis, we should hold, for example, international summits and invite business delegations to come. We can explain to them the features and advantages of Northern Metropolis, and we can tap the global market. We can also put in place some provisions to protect investors so as to attract talents and enterprises to come set up presence in the Northern Metropolis. I so submit, I support the motion, and I hope members will support my amendment. Professor Priscilla LEUNG. Now, the Chief Executive has asked us to do more to proactively dovetail with the country's 15th five-year plan. I am fully on board with this idea. When it comes to the five-year plan, we need to draw up KPIs, and I'm just talking about one of the indicators. The first point is about inviting top-notch universities to move into Northern Metropolis University Town. According to the presidents of universities, in terms of the financial position, many universities do have means to take forward development in the Northern Metropolis. However, they may not have further resources to support this operation. They would need the government's help so that more financing models can be established for them to set up presence in the Northern Metropolis. In fact, Northern Metropolis University Town does not only serve UGC-funded universities in Hong Kong. We also have institutions from around the world which will benefit from their development in the Northern Metropolis because it's the premium location. Now, in 2010, Shenzhen rolled out the Peacock scheme, and for I&T talents, if they go to Shenzhen, they can bring along their families. They will be allocated with school places, and that up to 3 million renminbi will be dispersed to promote I&T in Shenzhen. By doing so, they're able to build top-notch research teams. When it comes to government, business, academic, and industrial collaboration, we need to do more in the long term. According to Articles 107 and 108 of the Basic Law, we need to maintain fiscal balance and spend within our means. We also maintain a low tax regime in Hong Kong. Now, in the long run, there is a need to further promote investment. So, Secretary, it's for you to think about this option. We have 400 companies waiting to be listed in Hong Kong, and we do not have enough talents. So this is a practical question. The second point is about the institution. Now, for R&D personnel, if they also own shares of the corporations, they will have a greater sense of ownership. And this will also be conducive to protecting the IPs and patents. Because when it comes to the collaboration initiative, the R&D personnel should be able to protect their interests through the protection of IPs. Now, Hong Kong is famous for the rule of law. This is our brand. So my suggestion is to set up this KPI. That is, an intellectual property and technology arbitration hub should be set up, advocating speedy trial and fast-track adjudication so as to provide institutional support for the I&T development. Now, I&T talents and global legal professionals can be arbitrators. What is crucial is that a speedy arbitration process should be promoted, because if it takes a year to resolve a dispute, then the IP will become useless. So you need to promote a speedy trial and a fast-track adjudication to give people confidence. Dedicated legislation. This is the most crucial element in striking a balance between people's livelihood and safeguarding interests. When it comes to cutting red tape and removing obstacles, there is so much more we should do in terms of the legal aspects of the development. So the policy bureaus should conduct sufficient and appropriate consultation before rolling out any bills or subsidiary legislation. members should have the first look of the drafts before the bills are tabled into the council, so that in the coming 5 years we'll be able to deliver. I hope members will support my amendment.
Dr. Hoey Lee. Thank you, President. I thank Mr. Chan-yong for moving today's motion. In order for us to further enhance efficiency and speed to develop Northern Metropolis and to develop INT in Hong Kong, we have to make use of the Shenzhen-Hong Kong Boundary Control Points economic belt. The good development of the economic belt will allow residents of both sides on Hong Kong and on the mainland side to collaborate. I'd like to talk about our synergistic development. There are over 239 million people flowing in and out of mainland, so we must transform. We have to leverage on the cross-boundary flow of people to develop the boundary control points economic belt and to develop high value added sectors. At different boundary control points, there are different development modes and focuses. Say, for example, at the Hong Kong part of the Loop, as the INT hub of the Greater Bay Area, it is focused on research, transformation, and commercialization of INT. We have to focus on developing INT elements. At the Shanghai Modern Service Zone, as the leading zone of collaboration, the focus is on laws and finance. The zone attracts enterprises and promotes flow of data. At the Luowu economic belt, it is a commercial hub. It focuses on developing INT, life and health science, luxury shopping, among other services. At Mankamto Boundary Control Point, we have piloted the use of drones. Different economic belts and boundary control points have different focuses. Despite that, they share the two major aims. And this is how we can achieve success with the development of the Northern Metropolis. First, we should transform the purpose of boundary control point as a channels to value creation. The boundary control point can promote the development of global repair, cross-boundary commerce. We can transform passenger flow to shopping and consumption power. We can develop medical service. We have to also promote the cross-boundary flow of data, mutual recognition of qualifications, so on and so forth. We have to promote the cross-boundary flow of capital, people, and skills. Boundary control points economic belt is where Hong Kong and Shenzhen is connected. It is essential in promoting the development of INT. This can also help us build synergy. However, the Shenzhen and Hong Kong governments must work together. In order for us to develop the Northern Metropolis, we must open up and collaborate with other cities in the Greater Bay Area. The metropolis does not only belong to Hong Kong, but also the Greater Bay Area, our country, and the world, is a hub for INT and research. The economic belt is the physical connection point between Shenzhen and Hong Kong. President, I speak in support of the motion and amendments. Thank you.
Secretary for Innovation, Technology and Industry. Deputy President, I thank Mr. Brave Chan for moving the motion on further enhancing the speed and efficiency of developing the Northern Metropolis to promote the better development of Hong Kong's innovation and technology industry. I also thank Mr. Augustine Wong, Mr. Lee Kwong-yu, Professor Michael Ngai, Mr. Tam Chun-kwok, Andrew Fan, Professor Priscilla LEUNG, and Mr. Hoey and Dr. Hoey Simon Lee for their amendments. The national 14th and 15th five-year plans gave explicit support for Hong Kong to build itself into an international I&T hub. The 15th five-year plan proposed the need to speed up achieving a high degree of self-technological reliance and construct and build a modernized industry system. The government will dovetail with the national I&T development strategy and actively align with the 15th five-year plan to nurture new quality productive forces and build a real economy with I&T as the mainstay, so as to better integrate into and serve the national development blueprint and help the country achieve high-quality development and high level of technological self-reliance. The Northern Metropolis is the centerpiece of the government's plan to actively dovetail the 15th five-year plan. The government will strive to develop a new international I&T city in the Northern Metropolis and also create a south-north dual engine so as to provide more I&T land for strategic enterprises. Now, the new I&T land in the area can provide strategic support for I&T enterprises, for them to build R&D centers, pilot and mass production bases, creating a robust I&T industry chain. This will help us speed up the development of new quality productive forces and achieve new industrialization. Located on the banks of the Shenzhen River, the Hotel Cooperation Zone is at the junction between Shenzhen and Hong Kong. It is also one of the four major cooperation platforms under the 14th five-year plan. The cooperation zone is the only place in the country where two social systems, economical and judicial regimes coexist geographically with a mission to foster major cooperation in I&T. The government will work closely with the Shenzhen municipal government to realize the vision of one country, of one zone, two parks, and one river, two banks under one country, two systems. In November 2024, the Hong Kong SAR government has published the outline development plan for the Hong Kong Park of the Hotel I&T Cooperation Zone, setting out the major development direction and strategies for the Hong Kong Park. With the commissioning of the Hong Kong Park in December last year, together with the Science and Technology Park and the Cyberport, the major layouts of North, Central, South I&T parks in Hong Kong have been completed. Both governments will try to implement innovative cross-boundary policy measures for convenience flow of people, materials, data, and capital in the zone. The zone will become the testing zone for new rules and innovation, as well as the testing ground for institutional and policy innovation, so as to align with the goals set out in the 15th five-year plan. As a natural extension of the hotel area, the Santin area will provide a site where we can connect with the industry supply chain in the mainland cities of the GBA. Now, the IB has published the concept outline of the development plan for the I&T industry in the Santin Technopole in November last year. We will press ahead with the developments, and in accordance with the land supply timetable, we will propose suitable plan. For example, involving private developers to participate in the development. Now, in the fourth quarter last year, we have begun the tender exercise for the 10-hectare large data park in Sandy Ridge to provide computing facilities for the development of AI and data science industries. We are now dealing with the tenders received, and we will announce the details in due course. In terms of industry development, we are actively promoting Hong Kong new industrialization. We are nurturing representative I&T enterprises with potential to come to Hong Kong to develop, establish a presence, or expand their businesses so as to enhance the industry chain. In terms of speeding up the development of downstream new industrialization, we are adhering to the scenario-based investment promotion approach, and we have lowered the threshold for the application for the new industrialization acceleration scheme in last November. We have also launched the pilot manufacturing and production line upgrading support scheme to provide support for local businesses. In the year 2026-27, we will kickstart the INT Industry-Oriented Fund. We will also implement the cooperation agreements on the development of new quality productive forces and the promotion of new industrialization with the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology. Now, in last December, we have started a study on the medium to long-term industrialization of Hong Kong to actively dovetail with the 15-5-year plan. I will listen carefully to members' views and I will give a consolidated response in a moment's time. I will now invite the Undersecretary for Development to supplement.
Undersecretary for Development. President, the Northern Metropolis is a new engine for Hong Kong's economic development. It is a collaborative platform with cities in the Greater Bay Area, as well as a key initiative to facilitate our integration into and contribution to the country's overall development. The planning is centered on industry-led approach with over 3,000 hectares of new development land, 700 hectares of which will be allocated for new industrial and economic uses. 300 hectares in Santin Technopole will be designated for R&D purposes, as well as 100 hectares for the Northern Metropolis University town. The government has accelerated the development of Northern Metropolis on multiple fronts. The Chief Executive announced in the 2025 policy address the establishment of the Committee on Development of the Northern Metropolis, chaired by the Chief Executive. There are 3 task forces under the committee led by the Chief Secretary or the Deputy Secretaries. They focus on different areas of work. On the legislative front, the Development Bureau will launch a consultation on the first quarter of this year on a dedicated legislation. It aims at streamlining statutory procedures to expedite construction and facilitate the entry of industries. We hope to have the support of the Legislative Council. The dedicated legislation will be enacted within this year. The government also adopts innovative and diversified development models, combining the strength of a proactive government and efficient market to accelerate this development. In addition to traditional open tendering process for land allocation, the government also adopts flexible and allocation methods in line with industrial policies. They include restricted tenders for eligible enterprises, a 2-envelope tendering system that considers factors beyond pricing, and where appropriate, direct land grants to enterprises that can significantly contribute to industrial and economic development. The Development Bureau also plans to pilot a phased development model for commercial land in the Hung Shui Kiu Ha-Chun Town Center. This approach allows the construction and operation of low-density facilities during the early stages of development in the new areas, thereby attracting enterprises and creating a catalytic effect. To enable enterprises to set up presence as quickly as possible, the Development Bureau has recently introduced administrative reforms to expedite the approval process for private projects in the Northern Metropolis. These measures include setting time limits for critical approval processes and introducing high-level intervention mechanisms, which will greatly facilitate their participation in the development and construction of Northern Metropolis. I will listen to members' views carefully in the following and exchange ideas on how we can take forward the development and promote IT industry more quickly and efficiently.
Mr. Jimmy Ng. Thank you, President. I speak in support of the motion. On the first meeting of the LegCo last year, I moved a motion on the Northern Metropolis as well. I said that we must leverage on INT to promote economic transformation. I proposed back then that we have to achieve 3 aims. First, we must establish a timetable. Second, we must enhance connection. Third, we must promote also development. After that, the chief executive said that we have an urgent need to develop the Northern Metropolis. The government, after that, also removed barriers to promote the development. Looking back, we have achieved some progress over the last year. The loop was opened and established, and there are 60 enterprises who have signed tenancy agreements. They cover life and health science, new energy, AI along with other technology. The Development Bureau introduced a three-tier intervention model. All applications relating to the Northern Metropolis will be passed on to the Northern Metropolis office. That is the steering group on streamlining development control. This motion is about how we can promote the better development of Hong Kong's INT industry. It is said that we must expedite the enactment of legislation and accelerate the construction. The administration will be enacting a new piece of legislation on the Northern Metropolis. They are going to table the bill before the LEGCO within this year and have it come into operation also within 2026. However, apart from commitment, we also need financial resources. I think that we need to establish a dedicated fund. We must raise money from the market and attract patient capital. I fully agree with what Professor Priscilla LEUNG said in her amendment, which is that we must encourage more universities to establish presence in the Northern Metropolis University town. The administration must devise a plan that is as concrete as possible. We must prioritize different constructions. The Northern Metropolis is a INT hub. We must be innovative. I suggest that we establish a innovative manufacturing sandbox. The plan of the Northern Metropolis must align with that of the industry. Last week, the Politburo organized a meeting in which the president said that we must devise a plan to encourage synergistic development of different sectors. It is said that we must accelerate the transformation and commercialization of INT outcomes. I said time and again that we must not just focus on government, industry, economic, and research collaborations, but also its order. In order for us to promote the development of INT, it must be connected to our demand. The Northern Metropolis is an opportunity for us to create a framework for development. Some members suggest that we should first set out the purposes of each land parcels. As long as we have a framework, we can develop it better. If we have a purpose for each piece of land, we have to set out very clearly what the responsibility the government will shoulder. That's how the enterprises and the banks will have more certainty. Thank you. Next, Mr. Albert Chuang. Thank you, President. I speak in support of Mr. Chan Yong's original motion. In last year's policy address, the chief executive said that we are going to enact a piece of legislation for Northern Metropolis to streamline statutory requirements. The purpose of the dedicated piece of legislation is to promote enterprises taking presence in the Northern Metropolis and to remove barriers. However, on multiple fronts, say for example, housing, finance, transportation, so on and so forth, we have to devise special measures so that we can become an SAR. Well, the Northern Metropolis can become an SAR within an SAR. The Pudong government of Shanghai devised a series of special measures on investment, on land planning, so on and so forth, that promoted the development of Pudong back then. For enterprises that have been in business for over 10 years, they didn't have to pay tax for 2 years, and they had a tax rebate for 3 years of 15%. these were groundbreaking arrangements. After 10 years' time, Pudong has become a financial hub. This showed that the government's efforts have come into fruition, and that's why I look forward to this dedicated piece of legislation for Northern Metropolis to promote its development. In last year's policy address, it is said that we must be innovative in its development. Although we are still farming land in the metropolis, we must now work on planning which industry to take presence there. The Northern Metropolis presents rare opportunities for us to transform. We must leverage on our tax advantages in creating a pilot platform to promote transformation of INT research outcome. We must offer transformation service for enterprises so that research outcome can be commercialized. We must also create an industry park for that purpose. Second, we must introduce AI, digital medicine, and data science, so that we can create a comprehensive ecosystem to promote integration of research and industry. Third, we must also encourage SMEs to take part in the development of the NM. An organization just conducted a study on our economic outlook in 2026. It is shown that not many enterprises are interested in the metropolis. I think that apart from attracting top-notch talents or enterprises, we must also look after our SMEs. They will play a very important role in the development of the metropolis. We must also explain to these enterprises what's so attractive about the Northern Metropolis. This is how we can achieve synergy of industry chain. Apart from supporting Mr. Chan Yong's original debate, I also fully support Mr. Andrew Fan's amendment. We must step up promotion and publicity of the Northern Metropolis to foster greater interest among young people in Hong Kong, so that we can nurture more local INT talents. As also submit.
Mr. Bill Tang, Deputy President. Thank you. Concerning this important motion moved by Mr. Brave Chen, I have several responses and observations. First, when we discuss how we can enhance and consolidate our strengths under one country, two systems, and the basic law, well, we are very familiar with our strengths. The reasons why we have strengths in the financial system, trade, we are a member of the WTO, is easy. Everyone can recite these strengths. But we need to understand the unique relationship between our strengths and the one country, two systems, and basic law framework. Under the framework of the basic law and one country, two systems, concerning our global impact, what can we do to promote the development of INT industry in Hong Kong? Now, I can tell you easily that we have our unique roles and strengths to give in terms of the country's national blueprint. But what are our unique strengths in relation to INT under one country, two systems, and basic law? Well, there is a lack of in-depth study concerning that. So on that level, we need to dig deeper. Second, the Under Secretary for Development said that in this year, a dedicated law for the Northern Metropolis will be introduced into LEUNG. Now, I hope we would scrutinize the bill like we were scrutinizing the Article 23 bill back in 2023. We need to be speedy without sacrificing the amount of time we spend on scrutinizing the bill. We spent hundreds of hours on scrutinizing the Safeguarding National Security Bill back then. We need to spend a lot of time on it while making it quick. So let's make use of the experience gained from the national security law. Now, third, in last October, my think tank invited some officials from the LEUNG new area in Shanghai to share their experience with us. Now, they told us that the most difficult part was from 0 to 1, that is to attract investment and capital. So they spared no effort in tailor-making preferential packages for foreign businesses. In the end, they succeeded in attracting Tesla to set up a presence in Linjiang. It brought about the development of battery enterprises and new energy vehicle enterprises developments in the area. So I think we need to spare no effort in attracting leading enterprises to engage in production and manufacturing in Hong Kong. If our priority is life and health technology, can we target the most renowned overseas enterprise to come to Hong Kong with everything we can offer so that they can use Hong Kong as a research and production center? Now, for drugs developed and trialed in the Bay Area and in Hong Kong, there should be preferential policy packages to allow them to use the drug in the Greater Bay Area as well. This will attract them to Hong Kong rather than the mainland cities in the Bay Area. Second, education. Now, apparently, the US government has a very poor relationship with the Harvard University. Why don't we do our best to attract the Harvard University to set up a campus in Hong Kong? Let's build a campus for them. Then Hong Kong would become under the limelight of the international stage. Thank you. Mr. Chen Pok-ji, Deputy President, the Northern Metropolis is not only the future growth engine for our economy, it is also an important centerpiece of this North-South geo-engine layout. It is also a strategic platform for the country to achieve technological self-reliance. Now, it is the core of our future development blueprint. We need dedicated laws to support the development. We need to also attach importance to conservation. So in my opinion, we need to combine upgrading of agriculture and fisheries and also education and talent nurturing as part of the Northern Metropolis development. We need to make agriculture and fishery industries our priority as well. Now, dedicated law is important. It will provide more impetus for development. We need to streamline the land approval process while dovetailing the mainland policies to smoothen the path. Now, having considered the actual situations of the agricultural and fishery industries, we need to assess the conservation status of the wetland parks in the areas. Oyster farming should be included as part of the allowable use in these areas to promote ecological developments and economic developments. Second, we need to nurture talents and also attract businesses. Now, I suggest that in the university town layout, we include disciplines like hydroponics and other marine disciplines so that we can nurture composite talents who are both good at I&T and agriculture and fisheries. In terms of industries, we should make use of the cross-boundary advantages of the hotel park and promote the application of environmental friendly fishery methods and include and provide tax concessions for these practices. We need to develop advanced processing technologies for agricultural products. Now, through flexible policies like large-scale land disposal and pay for what you build, we need to cater to the agriculture and fishery industry's demand and provide them with more land. There should also be a reasonable compensation and transformation mechanism to help these stakeholders transition into modern and high-tech business models. Now, we should adopt a two-envelope model. Besides introducing I&T industries players, we should also introduce I&T enterprises in relation to the agriculture and fishery industry to promote in-depth integration between these traditional sectors with technologies. Now, the synergized developments in the Hotel Cooperation Park has broken new ground for cross-boundary collaboration in I&T, covering ecological development, environmental friendly practice can become an entry point for in-depth collaboration between agriculture and fisheries industries and the technological sector. I believe that with the protection of a dedicated legislation and also other supporting policies, we can realize the vision of using green waters and lush mountains as economic drive. Mr. Yu-Ming. Thank you, Deputy President. The Northern Metropolis is a major growth engine in the future. It is also important to note connecting Hong Kong and the Bay Area. And a key entry point for our participation in the National Development Blueprint, we need to provide more policies to support the I&T industries in the area for the public's benefit. I have 6 suggestions to make. Just now, the Undersecretary for Development mentioned that the dedicated legislation would be introduced soon. I hope that this legislation would be a visionary one. Now, we need to facilitate the cross-boundary flow of data, people, and capital, and take down the barriers between the two places and attract more enterprises to move into the Northern Metropolis. There should also be more targeted policies to encourage landowners to participate in the development. Now, we are a melting pot for East and Western cultures. Every year, we have attracted a lot of foreign students to study in Hong Kong. We need to pursue with the developments of the university town and make good use of the Hong Shui Kiu new development area and bring synergy to the adjacent area. We should enlarge the sites for the university town and pursue a development model of research, academic, and industry. We need to turn the I&T research products into our productivity force. Now, with the additional population in the area, there will be greater demand for medical and health service. Now, we need to harness the private sector to plug the gap in public health care. This will shorten the waiting time. And besides local residents, private hospitals can meet the healthcare demand for residents in the Bay Area. We should give play to our strength in higher medical disciplines like fertility to boost the development of medical research in Northern Metropolis. Now, besides developing the university town, we should increase the options of education in the area, for example, international schools, to meet the demand for premium educational resources. There should also be more options for secondary school and primary school students in the area. This will inject more vibrancy into the area. 5. Ancillary support for living in the area. The ultimate goal is for residents to enjoy a pleasant life in the Northern Metropolis. There will be a large amount of housing units completed in the area. Just in Kudong North and Fanling North, these two NDAs alone will provide more than 200,000 housing units. So we need to ensure that all the supports are available for the residents. Finally, in actively pursuing the development of Northern Metropolis, we need to ensure that residents in both urban and rural areas can share the benefits. We need to care for the indigenous residents in the area as well, so that new residents and indigenous people in the area can enjoy a happy life in the Northern Metropolis. Thank you.
Mr. Gary Chan. Thank you, President. I thank Mr. Brave Chan for moving this motion on enhancing the speed and efficiency of the development of the Northern Metropolis to promote the effective development of Hong Kong's IT industry. The Northern Metropolis is a strategic development area to support Hong Kong's integration into the country's overall development plan. Now, other fellow members already add their views on Northern Metropolis in different aspects. I'd like to focus on transport infrastructure. President, we have some core railway linking the Northern Metropolis to other areas, such as the Northern Link and the Spur Line, as well as the Hong Shui-Kiu-Tianhai cross-boundary rail link. The year of commissioning is expected to be 2034. As for buildings in the first phase of the loop, they have completed intake since last year, and the first batch of AI and biotech firms have progressively moved in. That means in the coming 8 years, the only mode of transport available to these enterprises is land transport. There is no railway connection. However, across the river in Futian, there are 3 railways already serving the Shenzhen Park. Now, for cross-boundary INT enterprises working or doing business in the Hong Kong Park, day in, day out, they waste time traveling. And when it comes to the speed of infrastructure development, we need to make sure we have the edge to compete with the other side. So when it comes to the infrastructure-led approach, it should not just be a concept. We need to translate words into action. Now, the Science Park and the Pak Shek Kok station won't be commissioned until 2033. So when it comes to our INT sector's advantage and the talents in universities, we have R&D personnel in the 8 universities. Many of them will be required to work in the Northern Metropolis. Now, any traffic jam will affect their work and the cost of R&D activities locally. That is why we need to have dedicated legislation, as Mr. Brave Chan suggests, in the Northern Metropolis, so as to advance the planning of the area and streamline administrative procedures, so that we can compress the time frame and advance the completion date to before 2034. We need to expedite railway development as well to give play to our advantages. Now, during this period, I think the government should make good use of technologies such as autonomous driving, serving the feeder services. There should also be some special routes serving the R&T personnel. The success of the Northern Metropolis hinges on speed. To develop the emerging industries, we cannot tackle the challenges in the 21st century with the speed of development in the 20th century. Otherwise, the infrastructure-led approach will be nothing but a slogan and will be lagging behind and missing out on opportunities of these technological reforms. I hope the government can speed up infrastructural development so that Northern Metropolis can be a true driving engine of Hong Kong's I&T sector. I so submit Mr. Tang Fei. President, I speak in support of Mr. Brave Chan's motion and the other members' amendments. Northern Metropolis is not only a source of land supply or an area for advanced urban planning. This is also pivotal to our integration into the country's overall development plan. It presents us with the unprecedented opportunity of building a strong nation of education. So, in order to enhance the speed and efficiency of the Northern Metropolis development, we must build a cluster of I&T talents. We should invite top-notch universities and research institutions to set up presence in the Northern Metropolis. Now, when it comes to prestigious universities around the world, they will form the core of the Northern Metropolis in order to advance the Strong Nation, Education Nation initiative. Now, we often say that we have 5 top 100 universities in Hong Kong, and we should be proud. But in order to invigorate our country through education, we cannot just stop at reserving sites for education institutions. We must not only meet the local demand for expansion of their campuses, we should do more to attract the top-notch universities from around the world to set a presence in the Northern Metropolis. They could either set up a joint campus or research lab in the Northern Metropolis so as to create synergy and attract more top-notch talents and scholars to come. In Germany, there is the U15, the University Alliance, and also U99, which is an alliance for polytechnic universities in Germany. And they are paying a delegation visit to Hong Kong to look for collaboration opportunities. So we should explore further collaboration, which can help achieve technological breakthroughs. When we have global top-notch university talents coming to Northern Metropolis, we can allow for more brainstorming sessions, and this will drive further development in applied studies and industrial development. Now, we can also achieve strategic breakthroughs for our country in bottleneck areas. At the same time, we can provide quality postgraduate education opportunities for local students as well. This will form a cradle for grooming talents. The second point is about having a revolving door for R&D talents. These talents may conduct R&D activities in the Northern Metropolis in Hong Kong, or they may go to the Shenzhen Park next to the Northern Metropolis. They will help create great opportunities for the regional economy. The third point is about dedicated legislation for Northern Metropolis. In order to attract top-notch universities and research institutions to come to Hong Kong, we need to improve software. This is what they care, and we need to be careful that there is a distinction between inviting the foreign institutions to come and set up presence and also developing the Northern Metropolis University town, and we need to amplify our advantages through building the Northern Metropolis University town. And what is crucial in this motion is that we need to enact dedicated legislation to align with the I&P laws from around the world. We should adopt a higher standard in terms of the distribution of interest and safeguards of interest and turning IP into something of a real value. Only by doing so we'll be able to enhance the speed and efficiency of development, and that we will be able to provide support to our country's initiative in developing new quality productive forces. Professor Chun-kwok. Thank you, President. I support Mr. Brave Chan's motion. The Northern Metropolis is an important engine for Hong Kong's future development. The He-Tao Cooperation Zone is an important component of the Greater Bay Area development. It also provides a world-class I&T collaboration platform linking the mainland and the rest of the world. Northern Metropolis development will be pivotal to promoting the development of I&T sector as well as promoting high-quality development in Hong Kong. We will, through the Northern Metropolis, dovetail with the National 5-Year Plan and integrate into the overall development of our country, so that we can continue to serve our country with our advantages. I'm happy to see that through collaborative efforts, the government has adopted flexibility in the approval processes. The government has also rolled out the large-scale land disposal approach. This shows the commitment on the part of the government in further advancing the Northern Metropolis development. And through the collaborative effort of all sectors, we have achieved results. However, comparing to Shenzhen, we are still lagging behind. For the He-Tao zone in Shenzhen, we see skyscrapers from across the river, whereas for the Hong Kong Park, we just completed the Phase 1 development. For Santin Technopole, the site has just been formed, and our target is to complete site formation for the first batch of 20 hectares of I&T land. We need to make bold moves and act more quickly, or we will be missing out. The government heeded the views of different sectors and has since rolled out a series of measures to enhance the speed and efficiency of Northern Metropolis development. I think what is imminent is to implement these measures properly to expedite the development. We should also enact dedicated legislation and remove red tape and obstacles. Our country is very efficient in taking forward infrastructural development. We should learn from our country's experience and adopt the Chinese speed in the development of the Northern Metropolis. Apart from hardware, we should also improve software so as to attract enterprises to come. This is our top priority. I fully support the government's proposal to develop the Northern Metropolis into an international healthcare innovation hub, so as to attract potential health tech firms to set a presence here. Last month, Invest Hong Kong held a Chinese medicine conference, and at the conference, the government has expressed the interest in reserving space to set up a manufacturing base for Chinese medicine in the Northern Metropolis. Well, we should leverage on our advantages when it comes to R&D and talents in Chinese medicine services and promote high-quality development in the area. According to government data, AstraZeneca of the UK, as well as 63 other I&T firms and stakeholders, already signed a memorandum of cooperation to set a presence in the Hong Kong Park of He-Tao Zone. Invest Hong Kong also helped some 30 life and health tech firms set a presence in Hong Kong last year. More than 10% of them relate to Chinese medicine. That shows the confidence overseas investors have in the Northern Metropolis. I believe that as long as we leverage on the institutional advantages in Hong Kong, as well as the position of Northern Metropolis and the big market in the mainland, we will be able to achieve very good prospects. I hope the government will continue to hold roadshows and explain to overseas investors our advantages so as to attract more quality firms to set up presence here, and that we can be a hotspot for investment.
Mr. Lam Chen Sing, thank you, President. I thank Mr. Chan Yong for moving this motion. This term of the government promotes the development of an INT hub in Hong Kong and talent hub. The Northern Metropolis is how we can consolidate our position as an international education hub. We already have the hardware and its design at Hong Shou Kyu, Ha Jing, Altame, and New Territories North New Town. We have set aside land for the university town. The key now is how many universities will actually take action in supporting the project. Will the tertiary institutions not take action despite claiming that they support the Northern Metropolis? So I think that the government must financially support tertiary institutions in developing in the Northern Metropolis. A self-financed institution said in a finance committee meeting last year said that they originally had a plan to establish a campus in Northern Metropolis. However, they have many considerations, including the cost and the operational efficiency of having a satellite campus in the metropolis, and if there is enough policy support from the government. I believe that many tertiary institutions share the same worries. I have a few suggestions. In January 2001, the government offer loans and funds to the government in creating new programs and build new facilities. 41 loans have been granted to 19 tertiary institutions over the years. The commitment of 9 billion have been exhausted in September last year. I think that the government should offer another round of interest-free loan to support tertiary institutions who are interested in setting up a satellite campus in the Northern Metropolis. We should also allow the tertiary institutions to make use of the newly built facilities in training talents for industries that are essential to the INT hub. I think that we should allow also tertiary institutions to create programs that are more pragmatic in nature. If the government is of the view that the programs created are relevant to what we need, then we should offer funding to them. Well, to lower the cost of universities in setting up satellite campus in the Northern Metropolis, the government can draw on the experience of establishing the LCSM. We can create a matching program. We can allow local universities to work with INT and research institutions in opening up new programs. We can allow a 1-to-2 matching grant or loan so that the government shoulder 2/3 of the cost, while the rest is borne by the university or the organizations that they are in collaboration with. We can allow the universities or tertiary institutions to build lecture halls and other student hostels, so on and so forth, leveraging on such fund. I hope that through this kind of collaboration, we can promote the signing of long-term cooperation agreements between universities and enterprises so that we have more internship, entrepreneurship opportunities for our students. I support the motion. Professor William Wong. President, at the end of last year, the loop of the Northern Metropolis was officially commissioned. The Hong Kong part of the He-Tao Cooperation Zone focus on INT, and it drive the development of the Sentient Technopole. He-Tao as the hub for cross-boundary collaboration. I hope that the government will enhance efficiency and speed so that we can transform the Hong Kong Park further. The He-Tao zones is divided into 3 areas, including the Hong Kong Park, the Shenzhen zone, and the Huanggan parts lot. I think that we should leverage on our advantage of 1 zone, 2 parks, and 1 river, 2 banks. We must make use of our advantage to promote the implementation of innovative policies. I have a few suggestions. First, we must develop this large-scale land disposal approach so that we can drive cross-boundary collaboration. We should allow an enterprise to develop, operate, and manage a lot. We can invite enterprises that have experience in operating both in Hong Kong and Shenzhen. The enterprise or company must be well versed in the industry policies, the market, and the laws of Hong Kong and Shenzhen. The 2 governments, that are the Hong Kong and the Shenzhen governments, must offer financial support. We should allow the operator to devise their own policies in attracting enterprises so that we can have more vibrancy in the lot. This is how we can give full play to the advantage of the Hong Kong Park and the zone. We should also encourage the commercialization of INT outcomes. We should not limit the He-Tao Cooperation Zone as a physical channel or connection between Hong Kong and Shenzhen. Second, we can also pilot new policies in the Northern Metropolis and promote it only when it's successful. The Shenzhen Park will implement a new management model within this month to promote cross-boundary flow of INT elements. Hong Kong said that we are also going to promote the cross-boundary flow of INT elements. However, until today, we don't have details of such an approach. In the future, I think that we can create a special zone in the Northern Metropolis so that we can implement innovative policies. After testing out these new policies, if they are successful, we can extend it to the rest of the metropolis. This is how we can speed up policy innovation. And this is also how we can enhance speed and efficiency. Third, we also have to consolidate policies between Hong Kong and Shenzhen. As we step up collaboration, some enterprises may have to operate on both sides. So I think that the SAR government must work with the Shenzhen government on smart governance, flow of data, to make it convenient for enterprises to make use of mobile applications to make applications to both governments. We must promote government-to-government connection. President, I so submit. I support the motion and the amendments. Mr. Chu Lap Wai. President, I thank Mr. Chun-kwok for moving the motion so that we can discuss the development of the Northern Metropolis so that we can unleash its potential. And this is how we can identify a new growth point. As a member of the DAB, I am the most concerned about the university town. How can the university town connect with the Sandton Technopole and the Hong Kong part of the Hotel Cooperation Zone? Hong Kong has been troubled by lack of land, and that limits the development of local universities. Some of them have to demolish some of their facilities in order to build new campus. We have over 100 hectares of land in the Northern Metropolis for education purposes. We must make good use of our land resources to promote this study in Hong Kong brand of ours. We all know that our local universities are well known for its research capabilities. Over 70% of the upstream research are recognized as excellence internationally. I think that through the Northern Metropolis University Town, in collaboration with the Hotel Cooperation Zone, the Sandton Technopole, and other parts of the park in Shenzhen, we can industrialize INT so that it become a driving force of the Northern Metropolis. I think that the SDR government should work on retaining and attracting talent so that we can support the development of the INT industry. I hope that we can create synergy between or among industry, academics, and research. I support using government funding to create more student places in the universities. We should also increase the number of places for or awardees of a PhD scholarship. We have to also retain talents. I'm worried if we have enough student hostels. Apart from offering hostel places for incoming students, we should offer accommodations for those who like to stay behind. We have these hostels in the city fund or scheme and also the hostel development fund. I think we should further expand them. We also have a $1.5 billion of research fund that is the research matching grant scheme. This is how we can attract international renowned scholars to come to Hong Kong for research. I know that the administration has established a education panel, and the results of the matching grant scheme will be announced very soon. I think that we should launch another round if the response is good. I think that we should encourage applicants of such grant scheme to have their research base in the Northern Metropolis. This is how we can encourage the development of the INT industry and also the Northern Metropolis. With good research, we also need it to be transformed into actual products, and this is how we can drive investment. We should attract more investment to support the development of innovation and technology. I think that the government should attract resources and investment so that we can have more potential enterprises in the Northern Metropolis. They should work with universities to create products that are popular in the market. If we can better integrate academics, research, and industry, then we can have more products that are useful, and this is how we can achieve a win-win situation. We should not just leverage on the academic capabilities of universities, we also have to retain talents to give full play to the Northern Metropolis Social Summit.
Mr. Chen Pui-leung, thank you, Deputy President. The National 14th and 15th five-year plans gave explicit support for Hong Kong to become an international I&T hub and to deepen the I&T collaboration between Hong Kong and the mainland. Now, the Northern Metropolis is the major growth engine under the North-South two-engine blueprint. Now, the Hong Kong Park and the Hotel Cooperation Zone is also an important zone of cooperation between Hong Kong and Shenzhen. We need to take down conventional barriers and remove administrative bottlenecks to adopt innovative models, for example, those used in Hainian and Pudong in Shanghai. Now, the Northern Metropolis development will span across 20 years, involving different industries. It is our flagship project. I support the government to enhance the speed to develop Northern Metropolis by a dedicated piece of legislation. We need both primary and subsidiary legislation. It will help us cope with the dynamic development pattern of the Northern Metropolis. It will help us to adjust the development model flexibly in need. This will be using legislation to empower development. Now, there are different administrative conflicts. Other obstacles include land resumption and also other land development constraints. Dedicated legislation will help us press ahead with the Northern Metropolis development project as soon as possible. I hope the government will introduce a bill soon. We need to involve the private market for this to succeed. Now, in the process of legislation, we need to consult the private market and actively consider the PPP model, for example, the BOT, build, operate, and transfer model, or even the build, operate, and own BOO model. The future park company may not necessarily be wholly owned by the government. The government may simply be a major shareholder while allowing private investors to have a shareholding in the park company so as to be more flexible. Now, the Hotel Cooperation Zone is an important area for Hong Kong to tie in with the National 15th Five-Year Plan. Under the vision of one zone, two parks, and one river, two banks, if we can facilitate the unimpeded flow of productive forces and productive factors across the boundary and develop a comprehensive industry chain, this will provide greater impetus for I&T developments in the area. Now, by the end of last year, the Shenzhen Municipal Government passed a dedicated law for the Shenzhen Park, which adopts a special regulatory model for the zone. For example, eligible Hong Kong residents can take up positions in enterprises in the Shenzhen Park. And also, the Shenzhen government will actively explore using Hong Kong laws and Hong Kong as a seat of arbitration for Hong Kong-funded companies in the Shenzhen Park. So I suggest the Hong Kong Park can do the same to support the cross-boundary use of capital and productive elements. There should be a more flexible system to allow the productive elements in the mainland to flow to Hong Kong and for enterprises to choose Hong Kong as the premium springboard for going global. Now, for Sentinel, which is adjacent to the hotel area, there is a 210 hectare large I&T land to cater for different demand. Now, to its south, there is the Ngau Mei NDA. There are some 52 hectare land to develop the Northern Metropolis University Town. Facilitation measures can be provided to attract research and academic institutions to move in to the area to promote synergized developments between research, industry, and academic sector and strengthen our talent pool. Thank you. I so submit and support the motion. Dr. Thomas So. Thank you, Deputy President. I speak in support of the motion moved by Mr. Brave Chan and the other members' amendments. In 2021, the government proposed the concept of the Northern Metropolis with some 310 hectare large site. Now, after several years, the major development proposals have been proposed, from Hung Shui Kiu in the north to Chun-kwok in the east, covering a 30-kilometer long border between Hong Kong and Shenzhen, with access to 4 areas in Shenzhen. Now, I will focus on the alignment of rules and regulations and also the establishment of a common legal platform. Now, the Northern Metropolis will be a hub for legal cooperation in the GBA. Now, I understand that the government will introduce a bill for dedicated legislation in the Northern Metropolis in the second half of this year. It will not only remove red tapes and streamline procedures, it should also deepen the GBA's position, or the Northern Metropolis' position, as a merging hub for rules in the Bay Area. This will showcase our strengths under one country, two systems. For example, each development areas and industry zones are linked with the land boundary control points. There will be a lot of opportunities because of the increased flow of people and capital. Now, the Huanggang port will introduce the single inspection joint clearance model, and also they are studying the use of contactless customs clearance. Now, there will be co-location arrangements in the Shenzhen metro station. These are areas where the Northern Metropolis can shine. Now, with this dedicated piece of legislation, I hope there will be relevant laws in regard professional services like intellectual property protection and arbitration for the I&T industries. Now, the facilitation measures can be further deepened in the Northern Metropolis. We can make use of technologies to simplify the customs clearance and inspection procedures in the Bay Area. This will enhance the development of the boundary control point economic belts in the Bay Area, while helping the relevant professional services industries to tap the market. And second, we need to establish the judicial and legal platform in the Bay Area. There will be some 2.5 million people living in the Northern Metropolis with some 600,000 job opportunities. However, the government has yet to announce the relevant legal support in the area. For example, when will there be a court in the Northern Metropolis with the population intake? What about hiring more judicial officers and judges? Now, with the positioning as an international I&T hub, how can we enhance the efficiency of the judicial system in the Northern Metropolis? The government should announce its plan as soon as possible for the trades to be prepared. Now, as a major arbitration and mediation hub in Asia, for Hong Kong to become an international legal hub, we have reserved a site for a court building in the Hong Kong Island. We should do the same in the Northern Metropolis. We should set aside areas in the Northern Metropolis for arbitration and dispute resolution institutions to set a presence in the Northern Metropolis. Individuals and enterprises in the Northern Metropolis should have access to high-tech legal services in the Northern Metropolis. Now, to speed up the development of the Northern Metropolis is more than hardware and infrastructure. We need to keep deepening the Northern Metropolis position as emerging hub for rules in the Bay Area. We need to develop the software so as to keep pace with the development of hardware. Thank you. I so submit. Mr. Ben Chen. Thank you, Deputy President. Enhancing speed and efficiency of developing the Northern Metropolis, that's necessary. We are very expectant of its development, while I am most concerned about the Hetao area and the Sentinel Pole. These two areas have great potential. One river, two banks, both Hong Kong and Shenzhen have our strengths. We have the international markets, and Shenzhen has access to the Greater Bay Area markets and the larger national markets. So I've been thinking what industries are most suitable for the Northern Metropolis positioning. Now, I think biotechnology and pharmaceutical industries are the most suitable ones. They involve research, academic, and the industry sectors. At present, we have a facilitation policies with the mainland, that is the use of Hong Kong drugs and medical devices in the mainland. And also we have the free flow of biosamples, but we still need to promote the delivery further. For example, after delivery of biosamples, is there a legal basis for these biosamples to remain in the Hong Kong park for research? We need laws to support that. Now we're going to have the Pharmaceutical Product Registration Board soon. We can attract pharmaceutical companies from the mainland to establish in Hong Kong. So we need to have a dedicated task force to reach out to leading pharmaceutical companies in the mainland and the overseas and attract them to come to Hong Kong. Now, biotechnology involves cross-departmental effort. If there is a coordinated workforce to attract them, we are more likely to succeed. Now, many enterprises have asked about the opportunities in Northern Metropolis. They would like to use Hong Kong as a springboard to go global. Now, actually, we have already pitched ourselves as a springboard, so we need to seize the opportunities. Now, the industry park is our priority, but there are lots of different operation models. Who should we learn from? We can't just copy the operation model of other industry parks in the mainland. We need to find the most suitable one and adapt it to our context. So I hope the government can lead a delegation comprising members of this council to visit different industry parks in the mainland so that we can find the most suitable model for us. So we have spent several years on studying how to develop the Northern Metropolis. It's time to roll up our sleeves and reach out to leading enterprises. I know the government has done quite a lot on this matter, but we have to let the public feel that we are actually achieving something. So I support Mr. Brave Chan's motion to enhance speed and efficiency of developing the Northern Metropolis. Now, among the amendments, Mr. Augustine Wong raised a very good point. Enterprises need space, and there are lots of vacant office premises in the urban areas waiting to be leased out. So can we make use of these vacant office premises to nurture the businesses first? This is a very interesting point, and he said he would move a motion in that regard in the future. And today we will focus on the developments of the Northern Metropolis. I respect that. It will give us a chance to discuss that in depth in the future. So all in all, I support the motion and the amendments. I so submit.
Ms. Maggie Chan. Thank you, Deputy President. I speak in support of Mr. Chen Yong's original motion. I'd like to speak on the following topic: development of the Greater Bay Area into an international arbitration hub and making the Loop a new place of arbitration for global community. I agree with Mr. Chen Yong in enacting dedicated legislation for Northern Metropolis in order to remove obstacles to promote the flow of capital and data across the boundary and to promote the development of the industries. I already urged the government to draw up dedicated legislation on ensuring data security in the loop area. I'm happy to learn that the government has taken on board my suggestion and that the government will provide policy facilitation for allowing Hong Kong-funded enterprises to adopt Hong Kong laws as well as using Hong Kong as the seat of arbitration. Our competitive edge lies in our legal dispute resolution services. It's also the starting point for dovetailing with the national 15th five-year plan. Last year, our country processed or adjudicated on over 5 million cases of arbitration, totaling 9 trillion renminbi. So, against the national strategy of dual circulation, we do have a strong client base for international arbitration. Leveraging on this advantage, we can make use of the loop as a base to develop the Greater Bay Area into an international seat of arbitration. The loop will be the base. It also targets new forms of the economy through new rules and standards, optimal use of resources, market supervision. We can help mainland enterprises go global as well as promoting Hong Kong's arbitration services. And we can actively respond to the positioning set out in the 15th five-year plan. That is the 4 centers and 1 hub. On the 31st of January, I delivered my research report in the School of Law of the Hong Kong University. I'd like to take today's opportunity to go through my suggestions on targeting digital economy, pharmaceutical, low altitude economy, and other new economic growth points. We should look into the enactment of dedicated arbitration rules in the loop, and that we can also draw up a new set of rules on the service of judicial documents through low altitude transport. We can also build a platform for the one-stop service in the Greater Bay Area. We can provide online and offline arbitration service and the service of documents. Leveraging on our advantage under one country, two systems, we can also enhance our connectivity with the mainland and the world, and we also observe a number of international treaties. We also have judicial mutual recognition arrangements with the mainland. So these are all our advantages. We are highly efficient and we're a clean city. Now the 4th suggestion is that we can form an arbitration organization with the mainland so that our organization can go global along with the mainland enterprises. We can map out a roadmap. Now, Deputy President, this is a new opportunity for us. Through the development of the Northern Metropolis, we can build an international arbitration hub in Hong Kong for the new economy. We can also, through this, tap into the big market in the mainland and attract arbitration organizations in the mainland to set up presence in the Northern Metropolis. And we can also attract mainland and international clients to take their cases of arbitration to Hong Kong. This will bolster our status as an international legal and dispute resolution service hub. Mr. Ken Wong. Deputy President, I speak in support of Mr. Brave Chan's motion. I also support other members' amendments. The Central Economic Working Committee held earlier emphasized the key mission in 2026, and that is to turn Greater Bay Area into an international I&T center. The Northern Metropolis is core to the future development of Hong Kong. It's also crucial to Hong Kong's integration into the National Development Plan, as well as promotion of new quality productive forces. It will provide a new engine for growth in the IT sector in Hong Kong. The Northern Metropolis comprises the Hong Kong part of the Hetao Cooperation Zone, as well as the Shantin Technopole. It comes with a mission. When it comes to the Northern Metropolis University Town, it's not just about spatial development. We also need to build a better ecosystem to support education and the grooming of talents as well as industrial development. Through joint efforts with the mainland, we have created a hub for high-caliber talents in terms of legal protection, policy facilitation, and other areas of software. There is more to be desired. I have the following suggestions. First, we should create synergy when it comes to education. We have a number of top-notch universities in Hong Kong. We have very strong research capabilities. We should leverage on this advantage in the Northern Metropolis so as to build a talent chain. In the Northern Metropolis, we should dedicate space for specialized I&T institutions. Post-secondary institutions in Hong Kong should collaborate with technical colleges and institutions in the mainland so as to set up joint laboratories in the Northern Metropolis, forming a cradle for the grooming of talents. These institutions can nurture talents for chip manufacturing, AI, etc. We should also streamline the procedures for work permits and also enhance mutual recognition of qualifications of I&T talents. We should make bespoke courses to support the demand for talents by top-notch enterprises in the Northern Metropolis. This will provide the strong backing for the key industries to sustain the development in the area. The government should also focus the resources on infrastructure development of the two parks, including transport, energy, communication. At the same time, the government should appeal to top-notch key enterprises to set a presence in Northern Metropolis. They should be offered tax incentives and other facilitation policies, rent concessions, so as to improve the the industrial chain and further enhance the commercialization of R&D results. By doing so, we'll be able to further enhance the speed and efficiency of the Northern Metropolis development and better promote the better development of the R&D industry in Hong Kong. We need collaborative efforts from the government and from all sectors of the community. We have very strong research capabilities. We also enjoy unique advantages in terms of the rule of law and our connectivity with the world. We must grasp this important opportunity. Riding on our country's development, we can build a hub in the Northern Metropolis to make greater contribution to the development of the Greater Bay Area. Mrs. Grace Chen.